Today we're going to get back to some roots and do some multi-tool modding. This time around I'm going to try to build what I think is my favorite combination between all of these wave clones. So the actual implements exist for me to build it exactly the way I would like it, but I don't know why they don't do it with the form factor that I'm going to show. We're going to build around the multi-force because the multi-force has a better arrangement than even the Leatherman wave, because all of the tools are on the opposite side of the pliers. There's going to be no hand pinch, which is a constant problem, and that problem has been transposed into the modern iterations like the ones from Byberry. I don't know why they continue to do this when they had a better design, but here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to exchange some tools. Right now the scissors are on the inside. We're going to actually put some scissors on the outside, and in order to do that I need something else instead of the serrated blade. Enter this version of, I don't know, I guess it's a signal clone, but there is a diamond and crosscut file that can fit in the serrated blade slot on this tool, and it is my hope that this will fit inside the multi-force. I don't know for sure. We're going to have to play around with it, but I'm happy to do some exploring. So we're going to try to take these apart using conventional means with some Torx bits. The problem is that some of these are within sizes. Instead of a T8, it's like a T7, that kind of thing. So if I notice that, I'm going to mention it, but I'm going to have a backup plan here where we're going to try to use screw pliers, which I have a couple of different types from Engineer. And so hopefully one of these will help allow, well, two of these actually will allow me to unscrew them. So if I do get there, I will mention it, but we'll go ahead and get started, get these things apart, and start reassembling. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to need to do is get this thing apart, and I want to get out the reamer awl, because that's what's going to go in the slot that was being taken up by the scissors. So we're going to take these things out, and we're probably going to end up using a lot of the washers and so on for additional spacers if we need it. So let's go ahead and get this thing locked in here. And I think, which one is this? This is a T7. This is going to be a bit of a trial and error to find the exact sizing. See, like the T8 doesn't quite fit. It's kind of weird in between size. We'll try this T7 again. And then on the other side, I'm able to get in the T. Is this the T8? Yeah. I'm able to get in this T8 in there. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get this undone. Make sure it's going the right direction. Let's go in the wrong direction. Oh, no, I had it right the first time. I need to change this one. All right, see if we can do it without stripping. Nope. Okay, well that didn't take long. So that's kind of the fundamental problem, right? That's the problem with these knockoffs. They use like basically crap metal screws. So it looks like we're going to the pliers for this one. The only problem is I don't have the second pair of locking pliers, so those are the ones I really needed for this. All right, but luckily this is working great. The extra leverage on this large one's working. Okay, so I should have unscrewed from the other side, so good to note. This is where the pivot is. Let me actually refocus here. The pivot is right here, and the screw is on the opposite side, so pushing this all the way through. that's what you want to unscrew from this side. So it'd be better if I had the larger pliers holding this side, like so, and then doing it with this. You want the one that you can grip a little bit weaker being stationary, or you don't have to put as much pressure on it because you have leverage, right? So this one is working pretty good. And like I said, these are great tools. Like in general, they're just phenomenal tools. But in this context, if you do modifications like this and you don't really care too much about the, in this case I don't because I'm sacrificing this tool, it'll get it done. There we go. Pull this right out, watch this. It's like stuck on there. Let me take it out with this. There we go. Screw pliers, there you go. Very useful. So that's one thing. And I don't think I have to take anything else from this side. We'll leave these down here. And now I have to undo this part right here. So I need to get out this diamond file, diamond crosscut file. And I think this is a T, it's a weird in-between size. This is a T15. I guess it is an actual T15. So these are T15s. There we go. Well, this one's easy enough. Cool fact, if you have a ratcheting driver in a stationary position, and I like to hold the T-handle, and you have a standard screwdriver, it'll actually rotate this way, but you can still have a grip of a much thicker screwdriver on the other side. Kind of useful. So I needed the scissor too, so that was good. Forgot I needed that. So I need the scissor and I need the diamond file from this. We'll keep the spare washers. I don't think there was anything. Is there anything on the opposite side? Huh. Weird. I guess there's no washer where the scissor was. Interesting. But yeah, there's the diamond file. There's the scissor. I did test these scissors. They're not bad. Not bad at all. So we are done with this for the time being. So I did go ahead and cut out a lot of the footage for disassembling the multi-force because it turns out that they will not integrate together. But luckily the other Byberry does, so yeah, there you go. And they're not remotely similar. So here's the problem. I just realized what the problem is. Look at where the stop portion is on these. So even though it looks like the locking interface might be similar, this is not. So this unfortunately will not work. So I'm probably gonna have to reassemble. I will reassemble the multi-force here off camera, and then we will take apart the Byberry, and hopefully we can do it with this one instead. So once again, just like in the multi-force, the diamond file, serrated blade, and scissors are all on the same side. So at least we're not working with two full, ends of this particular tool. We're going to start by replacing everything that has to do with the plier pivot, and then we're going to work on the back end. It's unfortunate that we don't get the benefits of using the multi-force here because of the lack of hand pinch, but we're still going to make it work. So let's go ahead and start with this and then go from there. All right, now for this we're going to need T15, I believe. Yeah. It looks like it could be like T17 or slightly bigger. Make sure we're loosening it up. cool thing you can do. Even though this is stationary, the ratchet works in my offhand. Okay. So there's the serrated blade. There's one washer there. And then we're going to open up the other side, pull out the pin. Okay. That's it. And I think it's just one washer on that side as well. So there's our handle. It looks like there are washers on the inside. Oh, yeah. Focus that. Oh no, those are not washers. Those are just indentations on the steel. Interesting. That's cool. That's going to make it a lot easier to do. Now that I'm going to have to fight the spring tension to get that pivot back in. It doesn't look like it's going to be super easy, but it should be doable. And this is not as easy as I would have expected. Just the spring tension on this frame. I was able to do it with both hands, but that doesn't help me because I need one hand free. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the pivot, and I'm able to hold it with the other hand. There we go. Once I got it in, then it's just a matter of pressing it down. Oh shoot. I'm telling you, that is some serious spring tension. There we go. Once I get it through, then I can just set a washer in there and do it. But you might have a little bit of issue. If you try to do this, you're going to want to have something to clamp it. Now that I'm doing this, of course, I think I could have done it with the actual clamp itself. So, lesson learned on that one. I normally I don't usually have it where the spring tension is that high. None of the Leathermans are that high. So, not really an issue, usually. Let's go ahead and put this, is it the right one? Pretty much the same thing. Okay, now let's go ahead and screw this down to get it started. Now I'm not messing with Loctite right now, mostly because I'm trying to get the fit perfect. Once I try it a little bit, then I'll come back and I'll actually add some Loctite. Actually, I need to do it this way, don't I? If I over-tighten it. Well, it does lock up. I think I did tighten it too much, but it's okay for now. That does lock up as well. Does it lock up? There we go. So we got the scissors in position, got the diamond file position. So now I have saw, which is having issues, saw. I have the straight blade, diamond file, and scissors on the outside. Beautiful. Now let's go to the inside and actually finish this up. Now, I learned this the hard way with the multi-force. I need to keep track of where all of these washers go. So let's get these out of the way. Try with this T8. All right, that was easy enough. That's why I usually go with one T-handle, and the others is just something I can spin freely. So try to take this out a little bit at a time instead of all the way like I did last time. Okay, or not. Okay, so let's take a look. So it's scissor, washer, flathead, one spacer. And is there anything on that side? No. And there's nothing on that side? Okay, it's in here. So right before the end there is a washer. Start by putting this in. Now there's many ways you can do this. I'm sure there's a better way than the way I do it, but I kind of like to fiddle, play with it. So I tend to do that quite often. That in. Magnetism. So I've taken some parts out of this video that probably are unnecessary, but I don't want to give you the impression that this wasn't a struggle, and even somebody who has done this a lot is going to have issues. I also tend to like to fiddle with things a lot more than most people. So you're going to see me playing with washers a bunch in this video. It's a trial and error process. Just keep in mind that you're going to want to keep all of the extra spare components from your other tools, and that might help you solve particular problems as they come up. And I really should have gotten more washers, but didn't. That being said, it all worked out in the end because I was able to get it tight enough that the tools don't accidentally deploy. And that's good enough. It's also going to keep the pivot from ever loosening, so that's a good thing as well. All in all, it worked out, finished it, and it's exactly what I was looking for. We'll see what we can do. I might just tighten it down really good. And that should hopefully be good enough. A bit more. Perfect. Actually, that works out better than it originally was. Okay. So let's get this out of the way and let's talk about what we have finally. So that was not as smooth as I would have liked it to have been, but hey, you know, that's kind of what learning is all about. And you guys got to be here with me to do it. So we have a diamond file where the serrated blade used to be, with a cross cut on one side and diamond on the other. Now this is not going to be the highest quality version of this particular tool, but it is the right tool set in my opinion. So we have the diamond file, we have on the opposite side, we have a pair of scissors, which I'm having trouble getting out, but yeah, there you go. So that locks into place and works great. I've tried these before. And on the inside, we have all of these tools. So we have these 4 implements, and we have the bit driver. So you have the bit driver over here. Let me pull these out. Saw. Do this without cutting myself. scissor, and diamond file. There we go. So that would be my basically ideal tool set. This is not something that hasn't been done before, but what we are getting from it is a full 3-dimensional Phillips. Now this is a ball detent, so it'll use the same bits as the Klein tools, lots of those, but you can also just install a magnet and you can still use these, but you'll also be able to use standard hex bits without any major modification. You have the diamond file, which honestly is fine. It's not the greatest one, but it's not bad either. You have a pretty complete tool set on this other side. And you have a pair of pliers that do not have removable cutters, which honestly, if you're going to abuse the tool, I prefer not to have removable cutters because they weaken the structure of the plier head. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this tool set, and with the Byberry at least, it comes with 3 additional double-sided bits that you can use in the sheath. And this sheath is actually pretty awesome in that it has a clip that can come on and off. It's not the highest quality, but it's the right style. So if I were one of these companies and I wanted to make a tool set that Leatherman is literally not doing for whatever reason, at least in their Wave series, this is what I would do. I would set it up in this manner. That's just my thoughts on it. Curious to see what you guys think. Would you set your tool up any differently? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for your time, and we'll talk again soon.